Hello, all of YouTube. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Again, there's been a little lull between reactions. Trying to think of, possibly some new content. So if any ideas or anything, let me know. But we have a couple trailers in the last couple days. I've been able to watch because of work and whatnot. Or, well, I could have watched, but wanted to react. So first up, we have Darkest Hour. Now, I've never been a huge. I've never been a huge, World War One, World War Two buff, but I love a great movie and of course great actors and Winston Churchill, a name that whether you're a buff or not, the name, Prime Minister. Played by Gary Oldman, Lily James is in here, and Ben Mendelsohn. So let's check this out.
We must now select my successor, and it's only one man the opposition will accept.
He stands for one thing, and one thing only, himself.
Why have I been forced to send for Churchill? This record is a catastrophe.
Let them see your true qualities, your lack of vanity,
Your sense
of humour.
Obviously, don't see Gary Oldman.
Your Majesty.
It is my duty to invite you to take up the position of Prime Minister of this United Kingdom.
I speak to you for the first time as Prime Minister.
The Germans have encircled 60 British and French divisions. We are looking at a collapse of Western Europe within the next few days.
How long have they got if we don't rescue them?
Maybe 2 days. We would need a miracle to get our men out.
You have the full weight of the world on your shoulders.
We're facing certain defeat on land, the annihilation of our army, and imminent invasion. We must negotiate peace talks.
When will the lesson be learned? You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth!
Nonsense. The only slippery slope.
Would you stop interrupting me while I am interrupting you? We have before us many long months of struggle and suffering.
Even though many old and famous states have fallen into the grip of the Nazi rule,
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender! For without victory, there can be no survival.
All right. Well, again, like I said, even though I do love, I'll say this, even though, like I said, I'm not a big, war era buff. I do love films in that setting, depending on the story, even though, they're fiction in that type of setting, Captain America, First Avenger set in World War II, Wonder Woman set during World War One. I believe I have that right or did I reverse it? Anyways, but they're wonderful settings for within those characters, but just to see again something, of course, that really happened in our history, just the period, how it looked, and people, be it from soldiers to the politicians, as we're gonna, I guess, really see with Churchill in the Darkest Hours. And of course, the ever struggle with the Nazis, the Axis powers is always. It's an interesting subject, and I know that's why so many people love, history regarding that area, be it, general, just books, movies, or video games. Again, you have your Call of Duties and Battlefields, which so many of them were set during this area, and for for great reason, because people love that. But yeah, seeing this man, Winston Churchill, portrayed by Gary Oldman, and like you said, in the makeup, you don't see Gary Oldman. You can kind of hear Gary Oldman, but a little bit, his syntax and whatnot. But you don't see Gary Oldman, and that's always an interesting thing when an actor, when they're covered in prosthetics, or be it physical or CGI, where it's not obvious it's them, but just to see their performance. And as this is a war story, I mean, again, against Hitler and the Nazis, as Churchill has that line, you can't negotiate with the tiger when you're in its mouth. Again, it goes back to history. People are like, we don't negotiate with terrorists, this and that, and others may wonder, why is that? Well, especially when you're in the grip of it, and you're on the losing side, how can you negotiate with that? But at the same time, you have to think, of course, how many lives, the effects that will have. So, I mean, obviously Churchill, as any leader in a position during a war, obviously will have many, or had many challenges to face, and it'll be interesting just to see how that's played. And of course, this is entertainment, a movie, a dramatization based on real facts. So I mean, it does kind of get me more interested to read more about, to learn more about the real Churchill and what went on, and then just to see how that compares. Because when you have something based on real events, you always wonder, okay, how much of this is reality and how much is dramatization. But I digress. Anyways, looks very interesting. And again, Gary Oldman, I mean, amazing actor. Lily James is becoming such a great actress. Well, not becoming, she is such a great actress. And a few things that I've seen her in, and knowing things like Baby Driver that's out, I heard for her role in it, she's good. And just I look forward to seeing a lot more. I have to go back and see a lot more things that she has, but I've heard nothing but great things about her performances that I haven't seen yet. So it may not be a take my money, but a definite want to watch. And of course, if there's someone else, a friend of mine or something, who is that type of buff who wants to see it, I have no problem. Like, I can see shelling out money to go see it. Just within myself, I don't know. Anyway, so that is my reaction review of Darkest Hour. As always, feel free to leave comments, share, subscribe, like, dislike, and if so, again, leave a comment. Let me know why. As always, appreciate you watching. Peace.